So, Bobby, we're here right now in Inglewood, and we're here at the community event for the US Vets. Given that you are, somebody that was in the Army, I want to ask you, how does it feel to be coming out here and talking to people that are in the military service?
It's an honor. I always say it's an honor. I grew up in a military household. My dad was a drill sergeant. My dad spent 26 years in the Army. So for me to be able to come back and give back to the military, it means everything to me. My whole family was. I have three uncles. All three of them served, and two of them were Marines. One was in the Navy, and then he switched over to the Army. So my whole family just kind of grew up. I grew up in a military household. My sisters, I have three older sisters. Two of them were in the military. My oldest sister just retired from the Air Force. And then I have another sister that spent 10 years in the Army, and she's actually working as a case manager for the vets down in Dallas. So my whole family's military. So this is, of course, one of those appearances that we have as WWE superstars that I definitely wanted to do.
Isn't it like I'm curious because if you weren't in the Army, how different do you think your mentality would be if you weren't in the Army, and considering that you were, how different of a person do you think you would have been?
Well, I think when I went to basic training, I always say that idea of soldierizing. I think that's important for everyone. I think that everyone coming out of high school should kind of go through something like that, because I think it really got me in line, and the discipline that I've received from that and my dad just growing up. I'm still the same. Like right now, I still have my sweats on because right before this, I woke up at my 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I went and did my cardio. I just ate my breakfast and everything like that. I've been routine my entire life. So right now, I mean, a lot of people don't know how old I am, but I'm 46 years old, and I'm still doing this at the highest level with some of these guys that are half my age, and I'm still in better shape than them. Cardio, physically, everything across the board, and that's just because of the discipline that I got from the military.
And I got to tell you, I watch you every week, and you're not lying when you say that, going out there and really working and hustling. But it is true, though, because it almost feels like, you're just a different person because you had this experience. You're a lot more disciplined. And I think that's a really cool, attribute to have. And you sort of applied it to your life in WWE.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell people routine's important. Routine's important and discipline's important. You got to do it. Like I tell my kids, I have three kids right now, and I tell them every morning, let's stick with the routine. Stick with routine. You can have fun with everything else in your life, but get those staples that you always do. And I always get up in the morning. I always work. I always make my bed after the famous speech. And these are some of the things that I keep with me in my life, and those are the things that make me successful and that are keeping me on top.
Awesome. Well, Bobby, let's get into Wrestlemania because there's so much surrounding that. Finally, WWE is back in Los Angeles. They haven't been here since WrestleMania 21, forever ago. And to be here for WrestleMania 39, I want to start off by asking you, as a wrestler, I know you're always a fan first. How does it feel to be out here once again and to just feel the atmosphere that comes with WrestleMania?
It's that big fight feel. WrestleMania is always going to be that way. Right now, we're trying to figure out what I'm going to do, being the almighty former WWE champion and everything like that. It's still in search of finding that big matchup, but that's what everybody wants to do when they go to WrestleMania. They want to have that big, iconic matchup in front of hundreds of thousands of fans and do what they do and do what we love. So right now, I'm still kind of half and half. I'm still getting ready for it. I'm still preparing for that day. I have a big match up Friday night, but hopefully that trickles over and causes something big for Saturday or Sunday. So that's what I'm looking for.
I know a lot of fans were wondering whether or not we were going to see that match between you and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. We still don't know if that's happening. Any thoughts on that? Is that something you'd be interested in? Or, is that not looking like it's going to happen? Any thoughts?
I have no idea. All I know is that I think I provoke fear in a lot of people. You can go out there with me and you can have a match and we can have a great match, but at the end of the day, the Almighty always comes through. So what I'm just looking for, I'm looking for whoever wants to step up. And right now, I think a lot of guys in this business try to look up, oh, these are going to be a fun match for me. I want to be with this guy, I want to be with that guy. But if you want a real challenge, I'm the real challenge for anybody on the roster.
And I know you said that you're the real challenge for anybody on the roster, but is there somebody that you're like, ooh, I'm not just talking WrestleMania, but anybody that you haven't yet got in that ring with that you're like, I need to make sure that I get some big program with this person or anything like that?
Well, everybody likes the big programs, but I mean, I've been in the ring with almost everyone. Some of the big names that I like to really do stuff with, I think me and Brock still have unfinished business. So I think once they give us an opportunity to get some real time and just a real go at it, I think that's going to be one of the big staple matches of my career. But again, Roman's on the top of the business. He's been doing everything. Roman, and then now he has backup, which makes him even more dangerous. I'd like to be able to do a program with him at some time. I think the Hurt Business and the Bloodline would be a good little feud to have, and hopefully we can get the Hurt Business back together. And if we do that, put it against the Bloodline, and let's see who's better.
That would be absolutely nuts. Now, I do also want to ask you, because there's so many matches taking place at Wrestlemania. I think there's like 14 matches or so. Which matches are you just like, oh man, I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out? Anything that you're particularly keeping your eye on?
Well, for me, of course, it's the guys that spend the time and put in the work for the business. We wrestle all the time, 3 days a week. And there's a lot of guys that have been putting that work in, like myself, all the way throughout the years, and I want to see those guys succeed at WrestleMania. I don't want to see these people that have that little glory of saying, "Hey, I'm going to come in for one big matchup and use our platform to do whatever they want." I mean, those guys can come and do what they do, but at the end of the day, I want the guys that are here all the time, that are busting their ass on a regular basis, to be successful in this business.
Awesome. And I got two more questions for you, sort of silly, because this is WrestleMania in Hollywood, and Hollywood's known for the movies and the actors and this and that. So I want to start off by asking you, favorite movie of all time?
Oh man, shoot, I have so many. I have a lot of movies that I really like, so I'm gonna throw some of them out. Since we're military, I'm gonna talk about one, Saving Private Ryan, and the reason why I like it is because of the end, and I watched it with my kids over and again, and kind of chokes me up when I think about it, because he turned to his family and he said, "Was I worth it?" And I believe that's a huge deal, because I'm a family man. I love my kids. My kids are everything for me. So we always do what we try to do. We always try to do the right things, and at the end of the day, the only people that can answer that question is your family and your kids. And that one, and then I like 300. 300 was it was a good movie, and the reason why I like it is because I think that movie was brilliant, and it was brilliant because of the narrative, and when they talk about it, they're talking about it through somebody's eyes that were there at that time. So when they talk about and they describe like the animals and different things that were going on, they're describing it from the point of view of somebody at that time. So I think it was brilliant, but I do like, it goes back to that structure of the family. How when he kicked that guy off into that pit, it was because he tried to backtalk his wife, because he felt that his wife needed to be under them, when he was like, "No, my wife's a queen, and you respect her just like you respect me." And I love movies that really talk about the family values and how people, how important family is. And I think that's what that movie was really about. So those are my two favorite.
And my last question is, if anyone could play the movie of your life, what actor would you want to play the movie of your life?
Wow. Well, I think there's three people that I would say they would have to maybe shave their head and bulk up a little bit, but Denzel Washington, Will Smith, or Jamie Foxx.
Hell yeah, those are some good options right there, huh?
Those are the best.
Yes, awesome. Bobby, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and I can't wait to see everything that you continue to do. Thank you so much. Thank you.